A young man lying on a bed looks around in confusion, unable to understand where on earth he is. He stares at his hand and thinks this moving lump of protein is strange. Fortunately, he realizes the soul of this body left not long ago. He thinks the reincarnation plan was too easy, feeling proud and confident. As he tests his voice, he notices adapting to the local language feels very natural. Moving the body doesn't seem problematic either, but he feels like something's missing. If everything had gone well, he would have had full access to the memories. But for some bizarre reason, he can't remember anything about this body's life. Suddenly, a terrible headache overwhelms him, like everything is shattering. He feels a pain like something tearing his stomach from the inside, doubling over in agony. Falling into despair, he starts coughing, wondering what on earth went so wrong with the plan. He can't even breathe properly, struggling desperately to inhale air with tremendous difficulty and pain. Then the shock of reality hits him, and he realizes this body starved to death. He explains that according to his magic's rules, he was supposed to reincarnate as the being with the greatest energy on the planet. Collapsed on the floor, he realizes he forgot to consider the body's terrible condition. He complains that he thought he'd turn into an amoeba, but the stomach pain is unbearable. He laments that since he just reincarnated, he probably won't be able to use magic for a while. He needs to adapt to the planet's energy, but first he has to find food. Bright light bothers him, and when he opens his eyes, he's shocked by what he sees. He remembers his home planet was liquid, a dark world with almost no starlight. But the place he's arrived at has scenery completely different from anything he knew. His eyes widen at the cityscape and pale blue sky. It's a place with bright light, hot, dry air, and solid ground beneath his feet. His stomach growls loudly, and he realizes this isn't the time for sightseeing. He needs food. The problem is, looking at the buildings, he can't find anything edible. He walks through empty streets, wondering if there's any food around. In despair, he shouts at the sky, asking what kind of crazy planet this is. He finally understands why the previous owner died, because everything around is hard. Collapsing on the ground, he despairs that if this continues, he'll starve to death again. Suddenly hearing a sound, he spots an insect on the ground but thinks it's too small. With no other way to satisfy his hunger, he prepares to catch and eat a cockroach. But just as he's about to take a bite, he hears footsteps approaching. He's shocked to see a child from his own species eating something. He examines the boy and wonders what's in his mouth. That's definitely food. So he throws away the cockroach, thinking that snack looks delicious. Drooling with hunger, he debates whether to steal the young boy's food. Passing by a wanted poster, he starts following the boy. The boy suddenly stops, sensing someone behind him, and turns around suspiciously. When he turns, he comes face to face with Gilio, who's drooling and looking very suspicious. The boy gets scared and runs away, and Gilio shouts for him to wait. After the boy flees, he turns around and discovers something else nearby. He finds a plant in a pot and realizes it's ornamental and probably not edible. Thinking it's better than stealing, he devours the plant and thinks it's delicious. But after the first bite, he stops with an expression of complete confusion. Suddenly, he hears terrible screams from the direction the boy ran. He thinks it's strange that the boy suddenly screamed and decides to go see what's happening. The scene shifts to the boy, trembling with fear from head to toe. Before him appears a huge, bizarre creature, terrifying the boy. The monster stares at the boy with glowing eyes, letting out an extremely evil growl. The creature jumps down from a building and approaches the boy, who screams louder. With a mouth full of sharp teeth, the monster prepares to lunge at the child. It rushes forward and bites the boy's backpack, trapping him with no escape. The monster lifts him up, and the boy screams desperately. But he barely manages to break free and hits the ground hard. The monster chases the boy, who's running for his life, crushing cars along the way. Just as he's about to be eaten, the boy thinks this is the end and cries out for help. Gilio arrives, sees this scene, and recognizes it as a creature the size of a house. Electricity starts flowing from the creature, and he thinks it's strange to encounter something like this on an ordinary street. Shocked by the scene, he curses and complains that this planet is total garbage. But he pauses to think and figures maybe this could be a good thing. A memory surfaces in his body, and he remembers that you can eat birds and that they're tasty. He stares at the creature, thinking he's finally found some wildlife worth hunting. Filled with confidence, he's already making plans to dominate the planet as soon as he adapts to the magical energy. At that moment, he senses something strange in the air, a presence that immediately grabs his attention. Blue energy emanates from the monster, and he realizes it's heading toward him. Suddenly, he's engulfed by an extremely powerful magical aura. He feels this force flowing through every cell of his body and confirms it's the planet's energy. But the amount is so immense he can't handle it, and he's overwhelmed, dropping to his knees. He explains that on other planets it was like a bucket, but here it's like a swimming pool. Thrilled by the discovery, he shouts that this is the real El Dorado. What luck! Flashing a victorious smile, he thinks with this much mana, nothing is impossible. The young boy interrupts him, calling him Mr. or brother and begging for help. Gilio wonders why he's asking an alien for help and sighs annoyed. He wonders what would have happened if that alien weren't a great magician like himself. Pointing to the boy's drink, Gilio says he'll help if the boy hands over that snack. The monster prepares to attack while the boy freezes in pure terror. Crying, the boy agrees to the deal and pleads for help as fast as possible. The boy runs behind him, and Gilio calls him an idiot for turning his back on a predator. Then he turns around and tells the boy to step back, getting ready for battle. He claims he was once a master magician responsible for protecting entire planets. He brags that with just a flick of his finger, he could decompose the creature's skin and bones. Gilio prepares to attack, but when nothing happens, he goes quiet. He tries to make excuses, blaming the environment for making him nervous. While the boy screams in terror, Gilio laughs at the situation, thinking he's seen it all. Then he attempts his first spell, an explosion, but the result is a complete failure. When that doesn't work, he tries using water elements, but the magic fails again. He resorts to spiritual languages and even curses, but nothing works properly. Confused, he wonders what on earth is happening. Falling into despair, he finally realizes the problem.